Hello and welcome to Tech Turbo. Growing a business often requires keeping up with the latest industry trends, including technology. As such, business leaders always need to be on the lookout for new tech that will improve their results and workflow. Today, we will check out the 15 emerging technologies that will change the world. 15. Sand batteries. Not every technology bettering our future has to be complicated. Some are simple yet extremely effective. One of these kinds of technology has come from some Finnish engineers who have found a way to turn sand into a giant battery. These engineers piled 100 tons of sand into a 4x7 meter steel container. All of this sand was then heated up using wind and solar energy. This heat can then be distributed by a local energy company to provide warmth to buildings in nearby areas. Energy can be stored this way for long periods of time. All this occurs through a concept known as resistive heating. This is where a material is heated by the friction of electrical currents. Sand and any non-superconductor are warmed by the electricity passing through them, and generated heat can then be used for energy. 14. Underwater gloves. Plenty of technological developments have come from copying the attributes of animals, and the octogloves are no exception. Researchers at Virginia Tech have created underwater gloves that mimic the suction abilities of an octopus for a human hand. The team behind these gloves reimagined the way that an octopus's suckers work. This design was created to perform the same function as said suckers, activating an attachment to objects with light pressure. Through the use of these suckers and an array of microsensors, the suckers on the gloves are able to tighten and loosen to grip objects underwater without applying a crushing force. 13. Xenotransplantation. Inserting the heart of a pig into a human feels like a bad idea, and yet this is one of the latest medical procedures that is seeing rapid progress. Xenotransplantation, the procedure of transplanting, implementing, or infusing a human with cells, tissues, or organs from an animal source, has the potential to revolutionize surgery. One of the most common procedures performed so far is the insertion of a pig's heart into a human. This has now successfully happened twice. However, one of the patients was only alive for a few months, and the second is still being observed. 12. AI image generation. As artificial intelligence continues to perform jobs just as well as humans, there is a new industry to add to the list: the world of art. Researchers at the company OpenAI have created a software that is able to create images from just worded prompts. Type in a dog wearing a cowboy hat singing in the rain, and you'll get a host of completely original images that fit the description. You can even choose what style of art you request and what will come back. However, the technology isn't perfected and still has issues, like when we gave it poor prompts on designing cartoon characters. This technology, known as DALL-E, is now in its second iteration, and the team behind it plans to continue developing it further. In the future, we could see this technology used to create art exhibitions, for companies to get quick, original illustrations, or of course, to revolutionize the way we create memes on the internet. 11. Brain-reading robots. No longer a science fiction trope, the use of brain-reading technology has improved hugely in recent years. One of the most interesting and practical uses we've seen tested so far comes from researchers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Lausanne, or EPFL. Thanks to a machine learning algorithm, a robot arm, and a brain-computer interface, these researchers have managed to create a means for tetraplegic patients, those who can't move their upper or lower body, to interact with the world. In tests, the robot arm would perform simple tasks like moving around in obstacles. 10. 3D printed bones. 3D printing is an industry promising everything from cheap house building through to affordable rugged armor. But one of the most interesting uses of this technology is the building of 3D printed bones. The company at Ossiform specializes in medical 3D printing and creating patient-specific replacements for different bones from tricalcium phosphate, a material with similar properties to human bones. Using these 3D printed bones, it's surprisingly easy. A hospital can perform an MRI, which is then sent to Ossiform, who create a 3D model of the patient-specific implant that is needed. The surgeon accepts the design, and then once it's printed, it can be used in surgery. 9. Realistic holographs. Holographs have been designed for filling science fiction books, films, and culture for years now. And while it does exist, it remains a difficult thing to achieve, especially on a large scale. However, a potential technology that could change this is holobricks. Developed by researchers from the University of Cambridge and Disney Research, holobricks are a way of tiling together multiple holograms to produce a large, seamless 3D image. 8. Clothes that can hear. Wearable technology has come leaps and bounds over the years, adding new functionalities to the accessories and clothes we wear day to day. One promising avenue involving giving clothes ears, or at least the same capacity as an ear. Researchers at MIT have created a fabric that is able to detect a heartbeat, hand claps, or even faint sounds. The team suggested that this could be used as wearable tech for the blind, used in buildings to detect cracks or stains, or even woven into fishnet to detect the sound of fish. For now, the material used is thick and a work in progress, but they hope to roll it out for consumer use over the next few years. 7. Lab-made dairy products. You've heard of cultured meat and Wagyu steaks grown cell by cell in a lab. But what about other animal-based foodstuffs? A growing number of biotech companies around the world are investigating lab-made dairy, including milk, ice cream, cheese, and eggs. And more than one think they've cracked it. The dairy industry is not environmentally friendly, not even close. It's responsible for 4% of the world's carbon emissions, more than air travel and shipping combined. And demand is growing for a greener splash to pour into our teacups and cereal bowls. 6. Hydrogen planes. Carbon emissions are a huge concern when it comes to commercial flights, but there is a potential solution, and it has received a lot of funding. A 15 million UK project has unveiled plans for a hydrogen-powered plane. The project is known as Fly Zero and is being led by the Aerospace Technology Institute in conjunction with the UK government. The project has come up with a concept for a mid-sized plane powered completely by liquid hydrogen. It would have the capacity to fly roughly 279 passengers halfway around the world without stopping. If this technology could be actualized, it could mean a zero-carbon flight with no stops between London and West America, or London to New Zealand without a single stop. 5. QBio dashboard. In Star Trek, where many of our ideas of future technology germinated, human beings can walk into the medbay and have their entire body digitally scanned for signs of illness and injury. Doing that in real life would, say, the makers of QBio, improve health outcomes and alleviate the load on doctors at the same time. The US company has built a scanner that will measure hundreds of biomarkers in around an hour, from hormone levels to the fat building up in your liver, the markers of inflammation, or any number of cancers. It intends to use this data to produce a 3D avatar of a patient's body known as a digital twin that can be tracked over time and updated with each new scan. 4. Direct air capture. Through the process of photosynthesis, trees have remained one of the best ways to reduce the levels of CO2 in the atmosphere. However, new technology could perform the same role as trees, absorbing carbon dioxide at greater levels while taking up less land. This technology is known as direct air capture, or DAC. It involves taking carbon dioxide from the air and either storing the CO2 in deep caves underground or using it in combination with hydrogen to produce synthetic fuels. 3. Green funerals. Sustainable living is becoming a priority for individuals squaring up to the realities of the climate crisis. But what about eco-friendly dying? Death tends to be a carbon-heavy process, one last stamp of our ecological footprint. The average cremation reportedly releases 400 kgs of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, for example. So what's a greener way to go? In Washington State in the US, you could be composted instead. Bodies are laid in chambers with bark, soil, straw, and other compounds that promote natural decomposition. Within 30 days, your body is reduced to soil that can be returned to a garden or woodland. Recompose, the company behind the process, claims it uses an eighth of the carbon dioxide of a cremation. 2. Artificial intelligence. Bionic eyes have been a mainstay of science fiction for decades, but now real-world research is beginning to catch up with far-sighted storytellers. A raft of technologies is coming to the market that restore sight to people with different kinds of vision impairments. In January 2021, Israeli surgeons implanted the world's first artificial cornea into a bilaterally blind 78-year-old man. When his bandages were removed, the patient could read and recognize family members immediately. 1. Energy storing bricks. Scientists have found a way to store energy in the red bricks that are used to build houses. Researchers led by Washington University in St. Louis in Missouri, US have developed a method that can turn the cheap and widely available building material into smart bricks that can store energy like a battery. Although the research is still in the proof of concept stage, the scientists claim that the walls of these bricks could store a substantial amount of energy and can be recharged hundreds of thousands of times within an hour. The researchers developed a method to convert red bricks into a type of energy storage device called a supercapacitor. This involved putting a conductive coating, known as petit, onto the brick samples, which then seep through the fired brick's porous structure, converting them into energy-storing electrodes. Iron oxide, which is the red pigment in the bricks, helped with the process, the researchers said. Which one of them is your favorite? Thanks for watching.